Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I have a story. That's right, it's story time with Desolator. When I heard about what happened with the scoring program at GP Charlotte, I thought it sounded really familiar. I thought something like this had happened before. In researching it, I found that there were actually two other times during a Grand Prix that the software broke. One of them was like round 15, so they could basically just do it by paper, by hand, whatever. So, yeah, somebody said, okay, it broke, we're doing it paper, and just whatever. They just continued because it was down to so few people they could do it. It wasn't that big of a deal, it wasn't that big of a surprise. I have no idea what the other breakdown was, I just heard about it. That one I don't know anything about. But believe it or not, those were not the two that I was thinking of. There was another giant disaster from way back in the day. This was before I started playing, and right when I first started playing, somebody had still been talking about it. They told me that there was some big tournament that just got destroyed by some kind of computer problem. And I finally nailed down what it was. Now, you longtime players probably do remember this, but if you're as new to the game as I am, I've only been playing for I don't know, 3.5 years, something like that, whenever the Return to Ravnica block came out. Then this might be news to you, but I do guarantee one thing, it won't surprise you. Let me just start this story at the beginning. Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, and Magic the Gathering by itself represents 5% of their total income, give or take. It might not be gross income, it might be net income, also known as profit. Either way, we'll just say it's like 1/20th of their company. And those numbers are actually really old. Those are 2013 numbers. I think it's actually higher now. Now, in the years before that, I believe it was from 2008 to 2013, their business increased by 184%. That's the total net sales of Magic the Gathering products. So everything was going great. It's not like the company was losing any kind of money, and that's surprising given the economic state. But if you were unemployed back then, why not play Magic with your spare time? It kind of makes sense. So with immense gains, money rolling in like crazy, what do they do to Magic the Gathering Online over all that time? They make it continue to suck. They didn't fix a damn thing with it. Everybody has been complaining about how terrible it is, how badly it works, how glitchy it is, how slow it is, unresponsive, crashes, disconnects. The interface looking like it's from 1990, basically everything. It's just all around a bad product. And in 2007, the company stated that it's 30 to 40% of their income. That's Magic the Gathering Online, so it wasn't some weird side product. I have heard a rumor that it's above 50% even right now. So it's only getting bigger, and they only just announced that in the next year, all of 2016, they're going to do something related to the .NET framework, either bring the MTGO client up to a better version of the .NET framework, or convert it over to the .NET framework in the first place, which, yeah, that'll probably be a little bit more stable than like from scratch, like C++, if that's what they wrote it in. But ignoring that, because, we'll see if it even happens and how successful it is, MTGO has a huge history of being awful. Plus, I've heard nothing but complaints over the last couple years about the scoring system used at local gaming stores for Friday Night Magic and the very similar program that tracks large tournaments. 3 strikes and you're out of good developers, apparently, Wizards. Wait a minute, aren't they from California where allegedly all the computer programmers live? This is ridiculous. So with money pouring in and the popularity spiking, they still refuse to put any money into it. So what happened on approximately November 12th, 2013? Well, MTGO was holding a huge tournament. I think top prize was like $25,000 or something like that. And shortly after the start of round 8, the whole shebang crashed. Nobody could get into games. They could strangely log in, but they weren't able to access any sort of games. The whole tournament controlling system just died. It seems it was the server itself that crashed or had a problem. So what did they do? They rescheduled the tournament for the next week, which happened to be a Grand Prix. So a lot of the people playing in the MTGO tournament were actually going to the GP as well in real life. And so they were doing really well, and they said they would resume the tournament if you were 5-2 or better. But now you have to choose. Do you want to still go to the GP that you prepaid for and bought a plane ticket for and bought a hotel for? Or do you want to try to win what you're entitled to win at this point? So on November 13th, 2013, in a now deleted news article, or I should say press release, announcement, whatever they called it back then, Some wizard staffer named Worth Walpert, who I can only assume is either an elf or a druid or both, based on that name, released a statement saying, "Hi folks, I wanted to take a moment to personally apologize for issues on Magic Online over the past couple days, especially with regard to the premier level events. It's not acceptable for your experience with MTGO to be anything less than ideal, and we recognize that the system has been having performance issues for quite some time now." Well, I'm glad they admit they know that people are pissed and that it works like crap. He continues, "As a longtime Magic player myself, who spent many years on the Pro Tour, I understand that we need to deliver a world-class tournament experience. We have fallen down on that, and we are going to fix it." Quote, Worth Walpert, 2013. Let me update this particular news story with a modern spin on it. They didn't fix a damn thing. I mean, I've heard, I don't actually use MTGO myself, I've heard that they did make it a little better, but people still overall hate it pretty badly now. I haven't heard about any major, crashes or interrupted tournaments and anything, but people generally really still don't like it. I mean, I've seen videos as late as, 2015 where people are trying to open their card collections and run a certain type of search, and it just freezes. So they said, okay, we know that it's been having problems, but we still pretend to host important events on it, and then they crash, and then we look like morons. So we're definitely going to fix it, and then they didn't. The best thing is the news article actually finishes with, "I sincerely appreciate the feedback that we received." Yeah, no, they don't, and it wasn't very polite either, trust me. "The team here is committed to bringing you the best experience possible that honor the incredible game that Magic is." Now, first of all, the team here is a lie. It's probably 100% foreign contracted programmers who just race through everything and barely speak English. That's been my experience. At least with software suites that the final product just absolutely sucks and makes no sense and is irreparably bad code. I'm actually too lazy to download MTGO and just look at the credit list, look at the names, but we'll just assume that's the case. Then, of course, it ends with, "If you would like to share feedback with the Magic Online team, please send an email to mtgofeedback@wizards.com. I assume that's no longer an actual live email address, not because this news article was from 2013, but specifically because the torrent of pure hate mail would either crash it due to sheer volume, or the mail server would physically melt based on the content of the emails being so spicy hot and scathing. Okay, I had to cut the audio for a second there because some weird crap just happened. I was going to make some joke about, I don't know, their email server melting because of the hate mail, and it would be like Hitler would cry at something, I don't know. I'll throw this up at the end so you guys know what just happened. Anyway, it's been 3 years. Wizards hasn't fixed anything. They keep releasing, after every time something goes up, they keep releasing some kind of statement saying that, they're committed to whatever, this and that, quality, we're going to fix it, we're going to make sure this never happens again, and then it happens again. Why does the community tolerate this? It's utterly ridiculous. Right now, I would not go to a GP because it might crash and, screw up the results. And they were upfront about it. What if the system crashed before, started mixing up people randomly instead of assigning them to the correct opponent, and they just swept it under the rug and hoped nobody would notice? I mean, who knows? I personally know of a person at my local gaming store that went to a tournament, signed up, filled out everything correctly, everything was good, verified it, double-checked it. All of a sudden, round 1, he's not on the pairings. Okay, so he goes up and says, "Hey, I filled it out, I checked it in, yes, we verified it, here's my little printout or whatever, the verification. You guys read off my DCI number, whatever, we're all good, but I'm not in the tournament, what the heck happened?" They verified that it was some kind of weird sign-up glitch, and they either added him as unknown, that was his first and last name, or that's actually what they found his DCI number under. Or it was corrupt or blank and they filled it in, like he was entered into the tournament, his number was, but it got all of his name wrong or something. And then it was screwing up the Planeswalker points or whatever, or some kind of point system too. I heard this story a while ago, but then he actually ended up doing really well and getting to the top couple people, and somebody had to go up against somebody named unknown. On the official sheet, it's hey, here's unknown. I found it hilarious, but due to recent events, I find it a lot less hilarious. I've even heard other stories from about 1 or 2 years ago. People told me, "Hey, I went to the GP and they had some kind of weird problem and sign up was turned off for a while," or something like that. And a lot of them were like side tournaments, like a lot smaller. They were like really big DCI sanctioned tournaments, but they weren't technically Grand Prix. They were like a special event thrown by a group or a store. Yeah, I'd still get 500 to 1,000 people, but it just wasn't like a Pro Tour or Grand Prix. And boy, did the computer problems show up at those. So it's not like Wizards doesn't know about it. It's not like Wizards is just ignoring it. Well, I mean, they are. But it's not like they're fixing it. Now, I can tell you, as a professional software designer and programmer, it really isn't that hard to fix software that simple. I wrote a shockingly similar piece of software completely by myself in like 4 weeks, I think it took. It worked with 3 proprietary databases run by other people, and it was actually a scoring application for a tournament, believe it or not Magic or anything. It was a completely different sport. But it is still used nationally, and I've never had to update it since. It's run flawlessly for about 8 years. I would say that that's as complicated or less complicated than the scoring system, because there are like 100 different scoring fields and weight classes and origins and everything in that program that I wrote, and it was a cinch. It was the easiest damn thing I've ever written. So to just put names in a list, verify them with a database online or something, and then randomize pairings, generate random numbers, and then print them out on the screen? I mean, that's like an exercise we do in the first year. It's just so simple, a monkey could do it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I think what happened was Wizards probably got a quote from one company that actually knew what they were doing and said, oh, that's too expensive, because, yeah, custom programming and software design is really overpriced. It costs a lot more than it should. So then they found either some garbage company in America or some garbage company in a foreign country, or they just hired really garbage programmers who don't know what they're doing. Either way, their team is just terrible. And I'm starting to think that it's the same team that works on everything, because if you know you just need some software written, and then you're going to have a couple updates in the future and that's it, you usually do contract it out. You don't usually hire the person, because then they know they're getting fired in like 2 years when the software's done. Or I should say done with the main design. So it is possible that they do have on-staff developers. They're terrible. And to keep them working and actually give them something to do, they work on everything. They work on the tournament scoring, the F&M reporting program, maybe the Gatherer website. You know, just everything digital that they own. Probably Magic Duels as well. Oh, and by the way, Magic Duels was a defective, glitchy, non-working pile of beta-level crap when it came out. And it is significantly improved right now, but it still has like a 4.1 out of 5 on Steam. And almost all the complaints are still about glitches. I mean, just weird problems in it skipping phases. I personally had a weird glitch where it skipped over something it wasn't supposed to, and yeah, it's really, I mean, it is really, really, really hard to write Magic into software because of all the little particular things, and you have to check in all the mechanics. It would just be a nightmare. Now, that would be something I would even fear to program, but they could have just ripped off MTGO's engine and put a new face on it. I honestly don't know how somebody could fail at that. It's like, oh, write a program that'll autocorrect the lighting in a photo. And by the way, here's a DLL file that does that. Like, all of it. Have fun writing a new interface in the graphics and sound, because that's all you'll be doing. I mean, they added some AI auto-skip to it, and that's actually what's pretty defective, so whatever. But yeah, I assure you, all of their products, a chimpanzee could program. It's not hard. Ask anybody you know that does programming to take a look at MTGO and see if they could improve it. Or the scoring system, oh my god. One of my local gaming stores has had a problem for the last, I don't know, forever, with the columns not sorting correctly. So they'll say you're in like rank 2 with like all losses. Wizards knows about it and they haven't fixed it. Now, way back in the day, somebody wrote an improved version of the F&M reporting program. This is a rumor I heard, but I heard it's true. They fixed a bunch of stuff with it and kind of made like an alternative to it that actually worked flawlessly. They just were like, I'm so sick of this, I could do it better myself, and they did. Wizards threatened to sue them and made them take it down. Isn't that nice? If it's not their property and they didn't own it, then they want it to go away because they want full control over it, which is understandable. I mean, you could make that thing, you know, report directly to the Wizard servers a bunch of fake crap that doesn't really exist, so I'd be afraid of that too. That or provide corrupted results, but like one guy, I think it was, did it in like a very short amount of time. So trust me, their software sucks and it's really damn easy to fix. They just I don't know. They're incapable of doing it. Nobody knows why. Greatest mystery in the world right now. So anyway, that was my little flashback to 2013 when their software still sucked and nothing has gotten better since despite their promises. Now I know why they deleted that off their website. But of course I found a copy of that press release. The story does have a happy ending though. Within about a week or so, one guy named Brian Kibler, who was especially pissed off about how that went down because he was 7-0, he got on Twitter, went on a little bit of a Twitter rampage. I kind of don't blame him, but he was kind of acting like a complete baby, kind of half and half. And he encouraged people to just delete MTGO, never use it again, said there's no hope for it, they've never fixed it, they never will. Man, I'm going to call him for my next psychic reading. That guy can predict the future. So was it just one guy venting? No! They lost 11.1% of their players immediately. The entire user base was so fed up with the garbage quality of that software that they just dumped it. They were like, you know what, Brian's right. Why am I still giving these people money? They refuse to put it to good use. It's all going into Hasbro's bank account and none of it's coming back to fix any of the products. So you'd think the executives and the accounting department, the people who actually give a crap about this kind of stuff, would see about 1/10 of their user base quit and stop giving them any new money. And they actually cashed in the collections because you could get them by mail, I guess. I assume that was still the system back then. Like if you had a certain full collection, they'd like mail it to you or whatever. So they had to go like get these cards, which I assume they have on reserve somewhere. They claim they don't have a giant bunker full of cards, but then how do they fulfill these requests? So yeah, losing that much money from a like 50% portion of their income, ouch. And what they learn from it, what they do about it, nothing and nothing. So anyway, that's been my little trip through history. That's why I don't think that their next product, Magic Digital Next, is going to be any good at all. Well, that is unless they have somebody else design it, write it, and do the upkeep. Hell, I'd do it for like $500 at this point. Jeez. And I just wouldn't sign up for MTGO. I wouldn't continue to buy cards on it. And I certainly wouldn't go to a Grand Prix or probably a Pro Tour either. It's probably the same software. I would just utterly boycott it and refuse to play anything but Paper Magic. Well, or at a tournament level. You can't escape their bad computers. They'll follow you, man. You think you're going like 100% off the grid by playing Paper, and then the scoring system doesn't work. So I would just stay out of everything. If it doesn't work, don't support it. Simple as that. I'm doing the Brian Kibler 2.0 right now. I would strongly encourage people to put some financial pressure on them and make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. And now you're probably all wondering what the heck happened at, 8 minutes in. I'll just tack it on to the end. I assure you, though, I'm not crazy. I'll see you guys next video if the stalker inside my apartment doesn't kill me. Hate mail would either crash it due to sheer volume, or the mail server would physically melt based on the content of the emails being so spicy hot and scathing. What the f***? Okay, it's like 1 in the morning, and I'm recording this at my apartment, and I swear to you that, like, somebody behind me just freaking said my name. Like, no joke. Like, wait a minute. Let me play this back. Damn it, the mic didn't pick it up. I got background noise suppression turned on. I'm not even kidding. I am fully awake right now. Not, like, drunk or anything. And I swear I turned around because I heard somebody behind me say my name. The weird thing is, like, right after it, I heard my neighbor's patio door close. So I'm like, why the hell is, like, my neighbor projecting their voice into my apartment from their patio? Folks, this is why I have a gun. I haven't even met this person yet. They just moved in. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. I'm going to record the rest of this. I got to get this done and go to bed. I'm losing it.